Hola, ¿cómo
What's up,
está usted?
guys?
Bien.
How's everybody doing today? Ex Bootlegger, good to see you. Thanks for being in the chat. Hope you are well too, my friend. It's a beautiful day here in Aguilar. I think we're almost 70 degrees. Nice and sunny, guys.
Beautiful
Today we're talking about voter education here in Aguilar because it's a small town and things are a little different here than some places. And to help us out, we have the town. There goes the mayor. Hey, mayor. Um,
there.
so to help us out, we have the town administrator who is graciously decided to come help us answer questions and get the proper knowledge. She's been there for 16 years. We'd like to welcome Tyra to the show. Hi, Tyra. How
Hello,
are you
Tyra.
today?
Good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're just hopeful to go through some voter education, maybe some audience questions, the process, the ballots, how they work, the seats, what they hold, the weak mayor system, just a few things, and we'll go through topic by topic, so that way people can watch back and feel better about when they cast their vote.
Okay.
And hopefully getting more people in to vote, right? Like ultimately that's our goal. We want more
Right.
people running for the seats so we have an actual election, and we want
Correct.
people actually voting. That's what we would like to see as our goal here.
Correct.
So yeah, and we don't know much about the process, and I know Aguilar being such a small town, it's a little different. You people thought maybe there was like districts or something, or a title attached to each seat or something, and I was like, no, I don't think so. I think each seat is just another vote, and you kind of get behind who you think would have your voice. So let's start with that. How do the seats have names attached, any kind of districts, and how would you cast your votes for each seat of board members?
Okay. So in the beginning, when the election starts, there's petition packets that the citizens can pick up that want to be on council. So for instance, if there is, say the mayor's position is open, you would receive a mayor's packet of petition to get signed. If there's trustee seats open, then you would take the trustee seat packet and do the same with the signatures. You only need 10 signatures of registered voters that are in city limits, and you have to be registered for the county, and you do have to be a resident of the town for 365 days consecutively.
So 1 full year. Now a quick question I have off that is, you use the word trustee. So what does a trustee's position include?
So basically what they are is they're all my bosses as one. So basically when we have a full board, there's 7 people that come together and oversee myself. As far as what they do, they approve the ordinances, they approve anything that's brought to council, and try to be involved in mostly everything that they possibly can.
Okay, and so that mostly, I mean, is all done through majority vote, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what about you people? You got any questions so far?
Well, I mean, you've got the petition packet, you've got 10 signatures that person needs, the certain requirements. So what does the mayor's position entail? Like, can you give us a brief description on what his duties include
Sure.
in
So
case somebody wants to go for the position?
definitely. So most of the time, smaller municipalities run weak mayor. So what that means is they're all in one with the board. So they cannot make individual decisions. As if you ran strong mayor, you'd have strong mayor, and then you'd have your pro tem, and then they'd have their orders of what they're approved to do. So with weak mayor, it's all the council in one plus whatever advice or whatever the administrator gives to the council. So it's not a one thing; it's all of them together. And basically,
Gotcha.
he runs the meetings. You know, um, he has the same option to vote just like everybody else, but because we have the board of six, if it's tied, then the mayor will vote, but most of the time they don't vote. But they do have the same ability too, but they just don't.
Okay.
So he does have the ability to vote, but just in a tiebreaker position.
He can vote every action item if he wanted to, but we don't, just because of the fact that if there's enough and there's a tiebreaker, then we go that route. But he
Right.
doesn't vote on everything.
Gotcha. So, other than the petition packet, after the petition packet, then what happens? They bring the petition packet back to you guys, or do they have to go to like Trinidad or something, get it like certified? Is there like what's the
Okay,
whole
so
procedure behind that?
on the petition packet, it's a circular. There's like 4 affidavits in there that have to be signed in front of a notary. And once those petition packets are done and complete, I do believe they have 21 days to circulate their petition. And
All right,
after that,
and let me stop you for a second. And where is the nearest notary here for them to go to? What would you recommend?
I am a notary, but I do not, because it's a conflict of interest. So
Right.
I don't notarize anything. But I do believe there's a few people around town. I think
Is
Tina Campbell.
the library have a
Um,
notary by chance?
I don't think so.
No.
Um,
Okay.
and I mean, I know most banks have a notary too. I know that's like out of their way, but
Right.
we can put some stuff out on the website as well. I do have a calendar that I make because it is a special election. So that calendar consists of 60 days until the final day of the election. There's certain days that certain things have to be done. So everybody can follow along and see what's happening and going on as it's happening. There is a lot of in depth of knowing coming into the position. I mean, it's difficult for anybody, but it's easy to learn.
Okay, and so on that, like I've had a couple people who have said to me personally, well, I would run for the board, but I don't know enough about the position. They're not saying they don't know enough about what they'd like to see or how they'd like to see things done, but they don't know about the position. And my view of it is they'll inform you where you lack knowledge. You're supposed
Correct.
to have an educated decision in each. If we're talking
Correct.
about water, they're educated with a packet or some sort of information. If they have questions, there's people they can refer to and such like
Correct.
that as a board member, right?
Correct. So when you very first come on council, after your oath of office, we have a meeting usually with CML, which is the Colorado Municipal League. They give us little tours of just the ethics and the other side of the board. They give them a little pamphlet stating, all their ins and outs, and I can also put that on the website as well. A lot of the knowledge and everything, all the paperwork is there. It's a lot of history, especially with the water stuff, and it's a lot. But as far as that goes, I mean, all they have to do
So
is ask, and we'll
So
provide it.
people that want a petition to be on council shouldn't be shy because they
No,
feel like they don't have the information. Like when it comes to a decision, they should be educated well by the time that decision comes, correct?
correct.
Okay. Because
Like
yeah,
for
I have
instance,
a lot of shy
it's
people have talked to me, and so
and it's
you
not
know,
nothing to be shy about or embarrassed or anything. I mean, everybody has to learn somehow. I mean, I still learn things new every day. And
right,
I'm not a mean person. I'm willing and able to help anybody. You want
right.
the information, I'll get it for you. It's just a lot of people frown, I guess, because I don't know why they think we're mean. So I'm not for sure.
So so from the petition, it turns into a ballot, right?
Correct. So after the petitions are turned in, we have to go ahead and make sure and cure them to make sure all the signatures are registered, make sure the address is proper to the person, and that the person is registered and over the age of 18. So there's rules of that also, so that will be on the website as well. Let's see.
Well, you
And
were
then after
saying that.
that's,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's okay.
I
Oh,
was going to say, you were saying this is a special election,
correct.
and it's coming up pretty quick. So do people have the time to do the petition and everything like that if they wanted to, if the citizens wanted to fill up the board and make it a full board?
Correct.
Okay,
Now,
they do.
What date does the
now
petition need to be in by, Tyra?
it's 21 days. I have, let's see, the calendar's right here. Hold on, let me see. So the set date for the election will be January the 10th of 23. And let's see here. So it's 64 days before the election. So they have plenty of time to get their petition done, and they have 3 days to cure it if something's not right. And we give them a chance to go back out and collect signatures if they're invalid or they're not registered. So they have 3 days to cure their petition packet and bring it back to us as well. So
And that would hold them a seat until 2024, correct?
that is correct, because they would have to run in the next election since this was a special election.
Okay. Let's see.
And as far as the terms go, there's 4 4-year terms and 2 2-year terms, and the mayor seat is always a 4-year term. So what that means is the first 4 people, if we had an election for everybody, the first 4 people that had the highest votes would get the 4-year positions, and then the remaining 2 after that would receive the 2-year. So that way the board doesn't, it always fluctuates with different people.
And how many people would we expect to see on the ballot?
As of right now, there's 2 for right now. It'll be open for. I'm not for sure. There's rumor of recall, so I don't know how that's going to play into it as well. So if there's recall, then there may be more seats available. I'm not sure how that's going to play out yet until the time comes.
So how does the ballot system work there, as far as like how does it work for the seats? Do you try and pin like one person against another per seat, or does
if
like
10 people
somebody?
threw their name in the hat for those 2 seats?
So you could only sign 2 petition packets out of the 10. So say you got one and you people got one and I got one, but there's only 2 available seats. So you would only be able to sign 2 petition packets. So whoever signed those.
No. We're asking how the ballot works. So how do they vote for those seats?
Okay, so the ballot comes in the envelope because we do mail ballots. We don't do polling places. The ballot will come and it'll have the instructions in it. It'll have a blue paper in between it. It'll have the candidate's name on there, depending on the lot draw, which that means they have a meeting, they pull straws, whoever wants to be on the ballot first. If they want to do alphabetical, that's kind of their choice. So we have to do that. So at that level of that, excuse me, the ballot, so there would be 2 people on there. So when they turn back their petition packets, it would be the 2 people listed on there or the other people that are on there that would have the choice to choose. So you can have up to as many as on the ballot for that to choose 2, if that makes sense.
Right. So if there's like 2 seats, 10 people, you just write in 2 names, right? Like if you want this person and this person on the council, you would just write those in. Is that how that basically works?
Well, it'd be anybody running for that seat. So if you had 10 people, you put those 10 people on there, but you're only allowed to choose 2 people.
2 votes.
So is there, all right. So that brings me to a question. Is there a difference on the seats other than administration, mayor, or anything like that, or clerk, or anything like that? Or is there a difference between the trustee seats?
No.
No.
They all
So
hold the same amount of power and the same.
right.
The
So
only ones
so if
that
it was all if it was all just trustee seats open, it would be your 10 people, two trustee seats open. So people would just write in or pick two names to put into those seats, just at random.
correct. So the
Okay.
ballot would have 10 people, and so you would just choose 2 out of those 10 people. And our ballots are
Gotcha.
pre-printed, so everybody that turned in their petition packet back, that's what the lot draw would be for, is how they want to do it, alphabetical on the ballot, or they want to go by their nickname, and that's how they do that. And then the ballots are printed up, and then they're all numbered and tagged on the side. And then when they go out, it's monitored that way, and then it comes back in. It's also monitored that way as well.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. And you guys do just strictly mail-in ballot, huh? You guys don't
That
have
is
like a
correct.
polling center or anything like that?
And
We used to do polling, and the thing with the polling is it was difficult to get people to be involved in it. And so we tried the mail ballot, and we had a more of a better turnout with the mail ballot than we did the polling place.
And what is in the past here? What has been the just a rough average of voters? I mean, what are we looking at here? We know the population is roughly 500. I'm
Right.
just trying to get a percentage of how many people in the neighborhood are participating. So roughly, like at the last main election, that was actually election. How many votes would come in on average? You think?
We had 132 votes for mail-in ballot the last time. And
Okay.
so I believe there was a total of 412, I believe, that were actually registered that could actually vote.
Okay.
So it's
Those are good
pretty, I mean,
numbers.
that's pretty good. Compared
Right.
to the polling, when we had the polling, we were only coming in with like 50 or 60 votes. So it increased tremendously.
Okay. And who counts the ballots?
It's a election judge, and I oversee it. I don't touch anything or do anything. It's people that are not from an area of that know the ballot stuff in election, but not anybody that would be favorited or anybody that knows anything about anybody, basically.
Right.
So they
Um,
basically come in from out of town and they do they get people in from out of town to do the ballot counting. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, most of the time we use the county judges and stuff down there just because, they're very familiar with the system, the way it works. And so we can get people in there that want to do it, and we have a training with them, and then CML will host a training with them as well. But yeah, they take in all the ballots back, they write on them, put the name, and so all that stuff. And the girls in the office can collect them as well if they wanted to, but I tend not to. I let the judge person take it all, so that way none of our hands are saying that, we're doing anything or anything like that weird.
right.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, mail-in ballot is very secure. So I mean,
Now,
go ahead.
when was the last recount, or has there ever been a recount here?
There has never been a recount.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. Is there any questions from the audience? Put them in the chat, and I'll make sure
Well,
we.
there was from Informed American. He wanted to know, or she wanted to know, because can't really tell from names.
Right.
Does the school have notarized papers? So if like they
They
did
do
their,
not.
they
The
do
school
not. So
doesn't either.
so there's
I
like no
notarize the
place.
school.
Right. So there's no place in town anybody can go. They have to go out of town to get their papers notarized and stuff.
No, I know there's 3 notaries here in town, and I know Tina Campbell at Housing, she's a notary.
Okay.
And I believe Charlene Baudino down at GNC Trucking, she's a notary.
Okay.
And I believe, I'm not for sure, Carrie Campbell from Code or whatever,
Yeah,
Realty, if she is or
possibly.
not. Hey,
No, there's a possibility. Okay, so yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple good options there, then I guess.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think people are more concerned about if they can get this paperwork done locally without having to leave town more than anything else. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people think that this is like really complicated stuff, but really it's not.
No, and it's I'll have everything out on the website on the aguilarco.us plus the Facebook as well. And it'll give them guidelines and things to look for and the dates that they need to have their stuff back to the office and things like that. So, I mean, they'll have a lot of information out there for them.
Well, I think you'd be the first one to do it, Tyra, because even the big cities don't even do that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you'd be a
Yeah,
trailblazer in that aspect as far as the education aspect on how to run for your government. So,
correct.
I give you applause for that one.
Yeah, and we thank you for being up here and trying to help educate. And this year we made it to where people will be able to watch it back at a later time and educate themselves, not just today either. And I'm sure if they have questions, they should be able to feel free to call you, right?
Absolutely.
And so
And they'll be,
if they
yeah,
weren't in the show, they can still get their questions answered. They just have to.
absolutely. And I mean,
Yeah.
don't be shy. Don't be afraid. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I mean, like I said, I still learn every day.
Right.
I think we all do. That's a part of being human. If anybody in chat has any questions about how the voting works down there or how the government positions might work down there that we haven't asked, you're more than welcome to ask those questions. And
Yeah.
you
And
know,
we wanted to keep this to a brief, just informational show. Like I say, because I feel that a lot of the people everywhere are just not very well educated on the process. And
Right.
if there's anything else that you might want to add as well, Tyra, that we didn't touch on yet, then feel free. As far
Um,
as far as the process or the powers, duties, responsibilities.
I mean, basically, this show was just to educate a lot of people, but mainly the residents of Aguilar. We'd like to see bigger turnout this voting, because it is a special election. We'd like to see those seats filled up. So,
absolutely.
I mean, this would be the best time to let the citizens know, like, what they should expect, how the process goes, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's probably a complicated process and I probably don't qualify when, it's very minor stuff that you need to qualify. And I'm pretty sure
Right.
there's a lot of people that have lived there for
Right.
longer than a year. So,
And there
um,
will be going out a flyer in November and December's billing statements as well to remind them and then give them the dates of everything as well so everybody keeps up on everything.
And now I have a question as far as the board meetings. As of right now, they're once a month, and then you have your different meetings in between, like emergency meetings and such like that.
Mhm.
What and that's expected, obviously, of anybody that's running to show up to those meetings. But what is the chances of getting more than one uh, town meeting a month, especially for a few months, to where we will be able to catch up after the board is filled? What
Mhm.
are the opportunities there? Is that something? Because I mean that expedites change, and that's why I'm asking. Because I know a lot of people don't want to run for a position that is just stagnant, and they feel like they're wasting their time. So um, I know that an hour a month doesn't accomplish
No.
much, even in a functional setting. So,
Right.
is that something that could be expected of them, maybe, or something that could be arranged as well? More than one meeting a month, at least till we're caught up on some of the main issues.
Honestly, since I've been here, I think, and I've always said this, that there should be 2 regular meetings a month and at least 2 work sessions a month so everybody can stay up together. Because if not, that leaves a lot on me. And so it's difficult at times. There's a lot thrown at me, and I'd like the council and everybody to be more involved.
Right. And so that is something that can be done. It's not like there's a rule where you
Absolutely.
can only have 1 hour, one meeting a month type
No,
thing.
no.
But that's something that we would have to expect from the people who are running.
Correct.
And also then it brings on the chance to expedite things here, and get things rolling. So by the
Mhm.
time spring touches down, there could possibly be changes to however the community sees fit in play. So,
Correct.
and so that's another big reason for these people to run for the seats and make sure that they vote if they're not running for the seats.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Because this is a good little town. We like this town. It has a lot to offer. It needs a little bit of help, but that is for the citizens to do. It's
Right.
They're the ones that need to direct where this town's going. I mean, it has so much potential in different ways it could go. So
Yes.
beautiful little place. One thing I don't like about here is the phone service. Golly.
What
Yeah,
can
we're
we
trying
do
to get
about
a
that?
tower up. We're trying to get a tower up in our yard over there where the equipment's at. That's still in running progress as well. So hopefully they can get that up.
Well, I noticed that there's like 3 towers. You guys are triangulated, like right in the center of like 3 towers. Maybe you guys
Right.
are a
We're like in
Bermuda
a square.
Triangle or something, but
Yeah.
I can't figure it out.
Yeah, we're like in the little dip.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's the one thing that would be nice is if you could make phone calls out of here,
Yeah.
So, no, but Main Street we've talked about before. Main Street's in pretty good shape. There's a lot of little things to be done around here, but nothing that couldn't be done with community action.
Absolutely.
So again, it's just the main reason we wanted to make sure everybody was informed. And I'm not really seeing any questions from the chat, which means we must have done a pretty fair job at getting our questions through. I don't really have any more off the top of my head.
Well, I figured there was going to be a whole lot more with the whole voting process and like voting. Like I thought, like maybe you guys had like a polling center or something set up, and citizens would come, so we would get that information out there so people know where to go, because there's a lot of people out there that don't like mailing ballots. But
so you have the 2 votes that you'll be able to cast because there's 2 seats open, or possibly maybe more. So you may have more votes. But you don't have to, like say there was just the 2 seats. You could just cast 1 vote and turn your ballot in, correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
So that way you just, maybe you only like 1 out of the 8 people, and you could just put 1 in there and it wouldn't hurt you any. So
Absolutely.
okay. And so that's another fact that's good to know.
And here's another thing too. Everybody always asks, why don't I run with the county to combine with the election? We're incorporated, and trying to get the election with them would cost the town way much more than what we did if we did it on our own. So that's why we don't do it with the county. It's really expensive.
Right. I can understand that. Robert Avila says, good information, Tyra. More than 1 meeting a month would be very good.
Absolutely.
So he agrees with you there. I think that could be something that could be done easily at this point, until after the election. I don't know how much more help it would be, but maybe if we can get these seats full, then most definitely I think that could be of a help,
Oh, absolutely.
So, well, I think that's all we have for you, Tyra.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming on here and answering everybody's questions and being so hospitable. And maybe we'll get you on another show in the near future.
Okay.
Prairie says, I knew it.
1894 is when the town was incorporated.
Yeah, that's funny.
I knew
He
it.
says they use different rules.
Right?
Would we be able to do a mail-in ballot? Yeah, she did say that they're mail-in ballots this year, Robert.
It's strictly mail-in, Robert. Strictly mail-in. So,
Gail Lawson.
Thank you, Tyra.
Now here they come with the questions, Tyra.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Hold on, one other one here. Is there a rule about husband and wife being on together?
No, there is not.
Okay.
I think we're catching people late.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have you stick around for a few more minutes. See if anybody else has any other questions. Because maybe people are a little late getting in, which that happens.
Or they're
We
trying to
usually
catch
run those
up.
long shows, so
Yeah,
So
I know.
one time on my council, I had a son, a mom, and a dad. So yeah, we've seen it all.
So it's
Okay.
not a conflict of interest if family members are on the same board or
No.
council.
And when would it become a conflict of interest? Or when could it, I suppose?
It could become a conflict if it depends. I would say so. If one was the mayor and one was a pro tem, I don't think that's a good mix because I think somebody else should be separate eyes, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
Well, and maybe if you'd seen a pattern of voting some way,
right?
maybe
And that's
something
what
like
happens
that,
usually.
big conflict of interest, But ultimately, though, there's no immediate conflict of interest with family running.
No.
That's all right, and that's awesome because that's important in a small town like this when you're already limited on your pool of people.
Right.
Yeah.
But there is a great pool of people out there in Aguilar too, and they're afraid that if they want to run, the other one can't run. Or
there's 400 possible people. She said
Right.
400 possible people could be running for this position or voting on the position.
Mhm.
So, I would like to see that number come in. Something real close to that. That would be wild.
Right.
I would be impressed. I'm not going to hold my breath, but if there's that many registered, I'd like to see at least 75% participate in some way, form, or fashion here.
And I think the key thing is the communication part. And I admit on my part, communication is a little lax on my side, which I'm trying to use and get better. The newsletter is probably the best, and the website. We try to keep everything up there and informed. And I think if the more information we can provide the citizens and get them involved, I think the more people will want to be involved.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
The more that they feel comfortable, then guaranteed the more they're going to participate. Nobody wants to come unless they like drama. Nobody wants to come and watch a shit show of a council meeting, So
Absolutely.
they do want to pay attention to where's their money going and what could we do better. They do like to pay attention to that. So,
and at the first of every oath of office for council, you make them write down goals. What is your goal by the end of your term of what you would like to see happen in the town, or and we've kind of gotten away from that, and so I think we need to bring that back. I think the council as well, with all of them, need to be held accountable, just as myself. We're all a team, are supposed to be a team, so.
Well, I think that's where my misconception of the trustee seats come into play, because they don't really have any title. They're all the same thing. They all have the same pull, but they don't represent anything. So I think that's another thing that might confuse people. It's like, well, I'm jumping into this seat. Hell, even Vern, I got Vern with it. I'm like, what is your seat and title? He goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think I think it would help if there was like a little meaning put behind those seats.
Campaigning, that's part of the campaigning, I think, because when you campaign, you let the people know what your agenda is.
Right.
A lot of it, I feel this is just as my inside looking out is, the council is important. They are the ones that make the decisions for the town. They are the ones to help to inform the citizens. It's just not all on me. I give recommendations to the council, but I do not approve anything.
Is there any kind of campaigning that goes on here?
Usually not, no.
Okay, and there's likely no campaign funding either, right?
You can do your own campaigning and turn it in, and then they believe get it reimbursed to the Secretary of State, I believe.
Something
And I'll
like
get
that.
more information on that for that on the website as well.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah, but I mean, you need something to campaign for. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? Like, I don't think I think people are thinking that mainly the trustee seats are just decision maker seats. They're not like change maker seats, if that
Well, they
makes
have
any
to be.
They
sense.
are
They're the
change
ones that make
makers.
the motions. So if one of them campaigns on improving the parks or something, we'll say, they can make a motion almost uh, as often as they need to say, hey, we could do this with this park, or we could do, and then it goes up for vote. So I mean, they do kind of have something to campaign on if they have something they believe in changing in town.
And I
No,
think
and
another good thing that we need to look at too is having committees for the trustees as well, because that takes some of the stuff off of me as opposed to they want to improve the park, so make a park committee. You want to improve the
Right,
streets, then make a street committee, and then have
right.
them meet with the work session once a month, and then bring that back to the next meeting and let's discuss this. We're going to
And
go
as
with
a
this.
board member, they would be able to motion for such committee, right?
Correct.
Yeah, see, and so that's where they get their power at. You people is right there. So they run their campaign based on what they would like to do. What are their goals for the town, and then people would vote for them based on their campaign, and then they would be able to make the motions, which are the most important thing, at the meeting. And
right.
obviously, you'd want the most amount of people on the board that have the same vision as you as a town member to be able to make the votes go through.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, because you could assign a committee. You could
Correct.
assign an Aguilar Days committee. You can assign a Capone Days committee. You can assign a Parks committee. All that can be done through motion.
Correct. And then what their responsibility to be to do all the research, get what they need. If they needed ordinances or anything that was the legal side of things, then we contact the town attorney and he'd draft up our stuff. And then that's what I would present back to council for them to talk about.
Right.
Right.
Makes sense.
Well, and that's a great idea, Informed American. We would love to open up the platform for any candidates that would like to run for those seats and, get their word out there. I mean, we are
Right.
being
Absolutely.
watched. We may not have like a huge like watch time on us right now, as far as like I think we've got 7 people on here now, but that does not necessarily mean that the people of Aguilar don't go back and
Right.
watch this. So
Right.
I mean, we open it up to everybody. You want to be a
So
candidate, you want to run for those seats, get a hold of us. We have
another
no
another
problem.
campaigning question, Tyra. So
Yes.
say uh one of the citizens was campaigning for that seat, and they wanted to do a meet and greet with the town.
Uh-huh.
Is there a forum for them to do that? Would they have to rent the town hall, or is that part of government and it's covered, or would they just have to come to the park and meet? Or I mean,
That's we organize that to have it for meet the candidates. We'll have it usually in the morning, have a little social, and then the candidates get up and speak and, tell us what they want to see in their community or what they want to see change.
right, right, that makes sense. Yeah, and I mean, meet and greets are always good because then you can kind of just grill the person on what they plan to do. You
Right.
know, sometimes that's a good way to tell how they are under pressure as well. So
Right.
and the board does have a little pressure. I mean, they got big responsibilities for the town. It's not
Right.
something to be taken lightly. Like it's not a hard position, but it is an important position.
Right.
I mean, you definitely need to be able to comprehend, and you need to be able to show up, and you have to obviously have the town's best interest and not your best interest.
Correct.
It's not about the person. It's they definitely should be about the town. in my opinion. I mean, I'm not trying to tell anybody not to run, but that is where the power comes is from the board. The board. I mean,
I
because
mean, somebody says
the mayor make motions like that as well,
no. He
and
can
so
make
that's what.
recommendations.
And so that's where, yeah, like you can recommendations. So like
Correct. Mhm.
that's where the board actually has a little more. A board member has a little more power than the mayor in the weak mayor
Correct.
system.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Any more questions from the chat? Throw them in there, guys. Because otherwise, we'll be ending the show out here shortly. If we have answered all the questions.
No, we're talking about troll training and stalking and stuff like that
Yeah, I
right now
see
in the
him. I
chat.
see him. I
We're
see
good.
him. I
It's
see
all
him.
right. I'm liking the
It's funny.
conversation. It's all good in the chat. So
Yeah.
but no, I think we're good, man. Like we said, we wanted to do a little quick live. We wanted to get some voter education and possible candidate registration information out there. So I mean, if you want to run, there's a couple of seats available. Let's fill them up, because the larger the council, the more decisions can be made and the faster decisions can be made.
Correct. And one more thing to add too is if you're not registered to vote, you can still register 24 days before the election. So you can still do that. You have to live and be a registered voter for like the 365 days. So if you want to vote, that has to be a criteria. But for a board member, it's 365 days.
Okay. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Okay.
I appreciate you. Thank you for
Welcome.
coming on,
Thank you
Tara.
guys.
Hopefully we'll see you again
too.
soon. You have a great
All right.
evening.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Critter Catcher, good to see you.
What's up, everybody in chat? Everybody.
We got Critter Catcher, we got Prairie, we got Cheryl, we got Jeff Co from Washington.
So if you guys didn't notice, me and you people
Informed
did a
American.
damn thing. We did a damn thing today. Just I told you yesterday on yesterday's show on my page that we was gonna do a damn thing, and we did it. And so we are actually broadcasting to both of our channels live. Times two. So you can catch us on either one. See
Right.
how convenient that is for you guys? Because we love you.
We're stepping up our game. We're starting to go full core over here.
You know?
Should be
spending
fun.
more money we don't have, you people. We're gonna be in the poorhouse by the end of the month.
Yeah, but isn't it just fun just to like spend money on your hobby?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, and what better hobby? You know?
Hey,
what better,
I mean,
what better
other
hobby?
than geocaching, this is my favorite hobby. I gotta say.
know? That's funny.
Right? Let's not forget Crafty Cat. Crafty Cat was here. And then we had Gail. And then we had Robert. And then we had Bootlicker. We had ex Bootlicker. We had Not a
First
Spy.
one in.
And then
Not a spy.
we had Robert Wolf.
Yep.
And then
it says there's about 12 eyes in here right now. So
we got Exile one.
was in here and earlier. Yeah.
I think I got all the shout outs out. Everybody,
and you know,
everybody's accountable.
Like I say, just a short live with a little bit of voter education here. And the reason that we did this, guys, for those of you watching that aren't from here, obviously, they don't have a full board here in Aguilar. They're short people to run, and on top of that, like that meant no election, and so they just whoever's name was in the hat ended up there, and it's not working. So
no.
So it's super important that they get these seats filled so they can actually move the town forward instead of backwards. So that's why we did this is just mainly for the locals here. You know, they need to know that they need to to step up, and this is a special election. They have time. They have time to get registered. There's 400 registered voters here, so
Right.
there's no reason why we shouldn't have the votes. But I mean, 400 votes, I'd be impressed to see that. And it's mail in, so that means they're mailed to you and you mail them back.
I called you.
I mean, how much harder could it be than that? They so I mean, mainly, if you don't get out there and vote, then you're not gonna like the results. Time
Well,
to vote
see,
is right around the corner.
Well, and everybody that pretty much knows me will go, but you people doesn't believe in voting. Actually, I kind of believe it on the lower levels. Why? Because
Right.
that does make a change. Now, in a town this big, you only get so many votes. I mean, for real, you only get so many votes. So, I mean, it's not like you're having millions and you can adjust those numbers like the presidency. So, I do believe in smaller instances like this. You should put in your vote, especially if it's a mail in ballot. Any resident is automatically getting a ballot. So there's no reason why you say you can't, write in a name or check a box and then put it back into an envelope and stick it back into your mailbox, man. It only takes a few minutes. Probably do town wonders. Oh, you know what I forgot to ask Tyra? God damn it, good citizen, trying to keep it all professional and everything. I forgot to ask her if they're looking for a landscaper. City landscaper.
Right.
I forgot.
And the one fact is those people who don't vote or don't run for a position are stuck with whoever they get until 2024.
Yep. And if they run unopposed, they just get the seat.
Then me and you people will be long gone. So
we'll still be around.
Yeah, we'll be around, but we sure won't be here trying to help you guys, give you a voice every day. So
I'm gonna have to fucking replace some batteries on cameras eventually. So I mean, don't think that we're just gonna leave you up and hang you dry and not know what's going on in the town.
Right. Oh yeah, we'll always have eyes.
But
this has taken a lot of time and energy, almost a full-time job.
And some.
And we can't.
And some.
Yeah, a full-time job for two people. I mean, it's just, I don't think they'll have that kind of attention in 2024. Just saying, my opinion, and that's all that is. So, yeah. But, it was a good educational show. Hopefully, people watching it back will enjoy it. And if they have any questions, they can feel free to call the town hall. Get their questions answered, get their petition packets, get them filled out, get them notarized.
10 signatures. That's all you need. 10 signatures. Then you can be put on the ballot. And like a notary signature. So 11 signatures. 11 signatures. Sorry. I had to do it. Somebody was going to do it to me.
Somebody was. They was going to get you.
My friend, I think this is a good place to end it. Everybody in chat, thank you for showing up. Everybody in future view, thank you for watching. We greatly appreciate it. And I think we're out, yeah?
On to the next. See you next time. Make sure you hit the bell. Notifications to all. Otherwise, you might miss us again. Everybody be happy, be safe.
Just another day on the front line, forced to apologize for being who I am. I'm getting back all this wasted time, feeling like a landmine. You know I can run.
Later, guys. See you on the next one.